Hello, welcome to Introduction to Drainage Review for the City of Seattle, SDCI, Seattle Department of Construction and Inspections. In this video, we'll discuss the basics of drainage review and how to meet the stormwater code and the side sewer code for your building permit submittal to SDCI. For this video, we'll go over some background on stormwater and side sewers in the City of Seattle, the thresholds for review and permitting, the submittal requirements when a project does trigger drainage review, and the standard drainage plans and some examples. Now, this is just a basics video. We will also have a couple other ones that go into a little bit more detail for different types of projects, as well as how to use the on-site stormwater management workbook. Those links are on our stormwater code website, as well as all of the other information related to the stormwater code. And that link here is on this this page here. And we always encourage you to contact the Drainage Review Group with any drainage questions or side sewer questions at sidesewerinfo@seattle.gov. So, stormwater in the City of Seattle, the stormwater code itself is to protect life, property, and the environment. And it's part of the National Pollution Discharge and Elimination System permit, which is issued by the state of Washington. And SDCI's specific role is to review for stormwater code conformance on private property within the City of Seattle. There's different types of drainage systems in the city. There's completely separated systems, which you can see in this map in green, where the drainage and the sanitary are completely separate. There's partially separated systems where some areas are combined and some are not. And then there's fully combined systems where the drainage and the sanitary from the buildings go into the same system. Now, as you can see from this map, it varies fairly widely depending on where your property and project is located. So we always encourage you to contact us directly because a lot of the requirements are very specific to the property. So side sewers are the pipe that connect private property, buildings, and sites to the public system. So that includes the storm pipes and the sanitary pipes. Those are all considered side sewers. The property that is served by that is responsible for the pipe all the way from the building to the main, even if the main is in the right of way. The property owner is responsible for the maintenance and installation of that pipe to the main. There's a couple more links here in on this page here that you can explore a little bit more specific about your property. There's some more information about side sewers in general, and hopefully those links could be helpful for you to learn a little bit more about them. So, stormwater code requirements are mainly based upon how much new plus replaced hard surface there is for your project. Now, a hard surface is any impervious surface by which most water runs off of that surface. So you can see in this diagram over here a natural ground cover. Most of that water is going to go into the ground, and then you see the fully urbanized environment at the last slide here, where most of that water runs off of the surface. So these hard surfaces include things like roof, tops of buildings, any pavements, patios, walkways, compacted gravel, any any hard surface that most of the water will run off. Now, replaced, which is part of the threshold requirement, includes any portion of the building that is removed down through the foundation where and then built back up. So if you remove the foundation all the way to the roof of a building and then install new foundation and a new roof, that is considered replaced hard surface. If you're just replacing the roof or you're replacing adding a second story to an existing building, that would not be considered replaced hard surface and not be considered towards the thresholds for requirements for the stormwater code. And if you have any, I'm going to reiterate this throughout the presentation, but if you ever have any questions about your project, whether it's considered new or replaced hard surface, please do not hesitate to contact us directly. Every project varies. So here's some of the thresholds for based upon that new plus replaced hard surface. 750 square feet or more, that is when drainage review is required for your project. Anything under that, drainage review is not required. You still have to meet the requirements of the stormwater code. However, you're not required to submit formal documents such as the drainage plan and construction stormwater control plan. The requirements for the stormwater code become more of a subject to site approval, and you will work with your site inspector to meet those requirements when you're under that 750 square feet. 1,500 square feet or more is when on-site stormwater management is required. And we'll go into a little bit more detail about on-site stormwater management in a separate presentation that is titled 1500 projects with 1,500 square feet or more new plus replaced hard surface. There's various other thresholds in the stormwater code, and they vary pretty significantly based upon the project and where it's located. For this presentation, we're not going to go into too much detail about all of the different requirements. Just another one would be 5,000 square feet or more is considered a large project, and it requires a professional engineer, and there's additional requirements may apply. When you submit for your preliminary assessment report and receive that report back, we try our best to provide you with all of those requirements based upon the site plan that you provide to us. So the approved point of discharge varies by site and scope of work. If you remember the map of the city, there is many different types of drainage systems within the city, and it varies depending on where you're located and also how much new plus replaced hard surface you are proposing for your project. There's various points of discharge for drainage, and this is listed in order of the priority for if the first one is available, then that is the approved point of discharge, and then it goes down the list for the most part. Such as direct to receiving water if it's right adjacent to, say, Lake Washington, connecting to the public storm main, to a ditch and culvert system, a curb weep discharge, alley, the combined sewer, or on-site infiltration. And on-site infiltration is usually when there's no other option, and this will likely require an engineer to do an infiltration test plus design your infiltration system. And we get into a little bit more of that detail in the presentation for projects under 1,500 square feet new plus replaced hard surface in a separate video. So there are sanitary approved points of discharge as well. This varies based upon the side sewer code and tend to be a little bit more straightforward, but again, projects vary fairly widely from depending on the location and where the side sewer is located and how many other structures are connected to that side sewer. So again, if you're making a new sanitary connection, we always want you to reach out to us to make sure that you understand all the requirements for your project. Septic systems in the city of Seattle are very rare. When drainage review is required, we'll need to see the connections to those approved points of discharge. And when drainage review is not required, drainage and any potential sanitary connections are subject to field approval. May require a side sewer permit if you're making a connection, and you will receive the information of where those approved points of discharge are going to be, either from your site inspector in the field or during the review process from a drainage reviewer. And if you ever have any questions, again, we encourage you to reach out to us directly for each one of your projects. So when drainage review is required, the Stormwater Code website is where we house all of the requirements, all the standard plans, the stormwater manual, which details all of the requirements in more specific ways. And the website is listed here at the top. When drainage review is required, there's two standard plans that will be required to be included with the compiled plan set that you submit for your permit, for your building permit. That includes the standard construction stormwater control and soil amendment plan. This is basically how you're going to control your stormwater during construction, and then the drainage and wastewater control plan, which is how drainage and wastewater will be connected to the public system permanently. Approved points of discharge for sanitary and drainage are provided in the preliminary assessment report, or the PAR. Or again, you can contact Drainage Review directly at sidesewerinfo@seattle.gov or by phone at 206-684-5362. We also have a virtual applicant services center, which is open Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8 until 3, or 9, 9 until 3, or Tuesday and Thursday from 10:30 to 3. And I have a link at the end of the presentation, and you can log on and chat live with a drainage reviewer by using the virtual applicant services center. Some smaller projects receive a pre-application site visit report, and those reports are more basic because of their small project nature. And if you receive one of those and you suspect that if you're going to have new plus replaced hard surface, we always recommend that you reach out to us so we can take a look at your project and make sure that you understand all of the requirements for that project. The preliminary assessment report will provide all that information. If on-site stormwater management is required, a lot more of this detail will be in the 1,500 square feet new and replaced hard surface video, but we'll need the on-site stormwater management workbook, an infiltration test if it's required, and a draft memorandum of drainage control. So I'm just going to look at a couple examples of what we need to have submitted if drainage review is required. This is an example construction stormwater control plan. The template is provided on the Stormwater Code website, and that includes all of the standard language. It includes all the standard details. And really what we're looking for is the site plan to be provided to scale on the standard template. And so on the construction stormwater control plan, we'll need to see what you're proposing and the various construction stormwater control best management practices, or BMPs, that are going to be required to keep sediment on site and to control stormwater during construction. All of the information and the instructions are included on the stormwater control template. For the most part, it's the different elements that need to be addressed. And really what we're looking for is typically a filter fence that's located downslope of any disturbed areas, a stabilized construction entrance, a stockpile area, and soil amendment areas, which is any disturbed areas that will not become hard surface at the end of construction. Those areas need to be soil amended. And if you, one more time, if you ever need any assistance, you have some questions about what should be shown on this plan, feel free to reach out, and also to consult the standard plan itself for instructions and the stormwater manual. The other plan that's required is the drainage and wastewater control plan. This is where you show all the permanent control. This particular project is an existing house with an addition on the back, and also they're going to propose a concrete driveway. Those areas of new hard surface need to be shown clearly on the drainage and wastewater control plan, and how those hard surfaces connect to the approved point of discharge. This particular project is the public combined sewer, so the new downspouts and other hard surfaces are shown as being connected to the existing side sewer. And we'll get into a little bit more detail in our other presentations for projects under and over 1,500 square feet. So both of these plans need to be completed and included in your compiled plan set. Here's another quick example of a new project where the new hard surfaces are clearly identified and shown connected to the approved point of discharge. Few review tips. Again, don't hesitate to contact the drainage review team at sidesewerinfo@seattle.gov or 206-684-5362, or your assigned drainage reviewer, who may be shown on the preliminary assessment report or on correction letters that you have with questions. We're here to help. Make sure that the general site plan requirements are met, clear and legible to scale. All of the site plan requirements are met, such as north arrow, labeling streets, etc. That it's legible. Use the preliminary assessment report to complete the OSM summary sheet, and use the summary sheet to complete the drainage and wastewater control plan. They should all match, essentially. Your approved points of discharge should be shown on the on-site stormwater management summary sheet. They should also be shown on the plan, and those are identified in the preliminary assessment report for you to use to complete that information on the submitted plans. When you do get into review and correction cycles, please provide clear correction responses, and again, reach out if any of the corrections are not clear. If it's the first time submitting, please read the instructions on the standard plans. There is some helpful information on there about what we need to see in order for us to approve for your project for drainage, as well as the instructions on the on-site stormwater management workbook. Again, there's additional videos if your project has less than 1,500 new plus replaced hard surface, if your project has between 1,500 and 5,000, as well as we'll go over the on-site stormwater management workbook itself and how to use it. For any questions, again, feel free to contact us, and here the chat function is available on the SDCI website. There's a little hi I need help at the bottom that you can click on, and those are our hours for that. Thank you very much, and please feel free to check out our other videos and send any questions to us. Thank you.